Boom, boom! Hey, welcome. We're from Buckingham Palace, and today we're going to bring you some updates on the Ep015 as per the usual.
Yep, that's right up the top of the show. And also, we have some interesting news from the States, which involves some gun control and
yeah,
people going crazy.
Yep, and terrorists, or not terrorists quite, but kind of kidnapping guy and they get him back, and that was kind of nice, or maybe it wasn't nice.
And Barack Obama's in there somehow. And
yeah, and did he do the right thing? Did he not? I don't know. Fucking, you decide. Video games, movie reviews.
Yep, I've got an interesting movie, which is The Thing from 1982.
Yep, so stay tuned for that. All best wishes to Tracey Morgan. Let's hope he's okay.
Matt has a culinary tip for us, straight from the kitchen. A quick and easy, cheap way to get your nourishments.
Yep, absolutely. And
Dumb and Dusted.
Dumb and Dusted, as
if you
per
watch
usual.
it for one thing only, watch it for Dumb and Dusted. That's on the tail end of the show.
Yep.
This is FIAWG. We invite you to watch us for an hour. Let's do this!
Pull over.
Man, these shows all suck.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
We could do better than this. Hey,
Yeah.
let's do it!
Good evening, and welcome to another episode of FIAWG motherfucking G! Episode 15. I'm Matt Orchard.
And I'm Kevin Drewberg. Thanks for joining us.
Cheers. Thanks, guys. We're here from all the way from Buckingham Palace.
Yeah.
I've got to say, with all the viewers not tuning in and not getting any more advertising revenue, the travel budget is certainly getting expensive at this point.
It is, with no returns thus far, but we do it for you. We do it for the visual stimulus.
Yep, taking out a second mortgage and everything.
Yep.
So thanks for
and thanks to the Royals as well for having us letting us set up our little pod here.
They didn't charge us quite as much as NASA did last week.
Nah, which is good.
By the way, before we actually go into getting and talking about why we've come to Buckingham Palace, apologies again for last episode. We had another audio issue that went throughout the duration of the show. It wasn't as bad as the partial audio issue we had the week before. But it was less bad, but it was more consistent. It was kind of through the whole thing.
There you go.
So that might be.
We're crisp. I'm crisp.
At least we were during testing, so let's hope something doesn't creep up on us and fuck us over again this week. But and then hopefully we'll have viewers.
Yeah, now that we have
video
and audio, all we need is viewers.
Yeah,
and then we're set.
Sweet.
So, why are we in Buckingham Palace in the UK this week, Matt?
Well, over in New Zealand and Australia, and I assume in England.
I don't know.
I mean, if we're celebrating the Queen's birthday.
Yep.
Any Americans out there, it doesn't apply to you guys.
But you're
which
quite
means
welcome to celebrate if you feel so inclined.
No, don't, because Game of Thrones is still going to be on tonight. That didn't happen when they had Memorial Day.
Yeah,
so don't go celebrating anymore.
Just a real quick, what happened there? So there was the Memorial Day, they didn't shoot it, or they didn't release it, or what happened to the game?
Well, obviously it was shot, because they don't,
Okay, but they didn't release it that week.
Yeah, I think once they did release it on Memorial Day, and they had a big drop of ratings, because everyone's out, at the beach or whatever, or just, hanging out with the family. And so...
Okay.
It's not really out of respect. It's more just so they don't lose the viewers.
Yeah, okay.
That week. But obviously over in New Zealand and Australia, we were really pissed because Memorial Day means nothing to us.
Not to get it, but today, I was shocked to find out the Queen's Holiday shut down a whole lot of shops. So I went to get some cables and shit to fix up this MacGyvered it together, but the audio shops are all shut. Man.
Oh yeah, no cable stuff like that. Food's open, supermarkets are sweet. That stuff's fine, but yeah, if you need anything, anything that's niche, go to the health food store or whatever. No, I don't know.
So nothing. But if you need pizzas, always open. Petrol. Any day.
Well, I check Guzman Gomez is my favourite takeout place because every Monday, I'm a creature of habit, and because I watch Game of Thrones and everything, it's one of the things where I get myself a burrito bowl.
Right.
So it's part of my ritual. So I can
check
that.
Bowl.
Yeah, that's because I'm just trying to watch my weight. So
there's no wrapping. It's just like.
Oh, this is going to show how pathetic I am. But yeah, that on Monday, but then on Friday, that's my.
You get the double wrap.
I get. Well, no, I just get a burrito and I get beer as well. It's beer and burritos Friday, end of the week. Yay! But I don't get 2 burritos a week because obviously the tortilla actually.
There you go.
The tortilla, like,
What about whole grain, multi-grain tortillas?
at that point you might as well just get a bowl.
True.
But, yeah, like, everyone knows, oh yeah, they make it a bit fattier, but it's something crazy. Like, I checked the stats, it's like, bread with the tortilla is like 850 calories, and like, bowl is like 580. Like, it's really dramatic.
They say if you're health conscious or looking to diet, you stay away from the white things, like flour, sugar, and like
that's fucked.
Especially white rice, white bread, whatever.
Yeah, that's fucked though. Like, I mean, no bread, no rice,
it's not, there's alternatives. So you do the multigrain, the multigrain.
It's whole grain. I think multigrain is like a bit more.
No, you're right. Exactly
whole grain.
Right.
But I mean, look, going for whole grain bread, that's fine. I don't really miss white bread that much. Like, it still tastes fine, especially toast. Toast, like, doesn't make a difference.
Yep, true.
Rice, though, I don't know. And you have to pay extra for the brown rice.
And it takes twice as long to cook. That's what I don't like about it.
Oh, see.
Twice as long to cook. What are you doing brown rice?
But I just think all good things in moderation. So, look, I get the burrito bowl one day of the week.
There you go.
Okay, the rice, but that's no biggie. And then I allow myself the one with tortilla once a week as a bit of a treat. I do have a bit of belly weight to lose, though, still, but that's probably just...
So, beer once a week?
Beer once a week, yeah. I probably drink too much wine, honestly.
It's wine 6 days a week and beer 1 day a week?
Not 6 days a week, but I mean, I probably just... After work, Actually, no, it probably is beer, because I don't count after work drinks, which fucking adds up. Because my friends are a bad influence, you know? So probably like 3 days of the week I end up actually at the pub with my mates after work. That's bad.
Yep, and then it's always full body beer at the pubs. You can't go to a pub and say, "Oh, give me a light beer." In America, you can. It's a lot more socially acceptable to get like a Miller Lite or a Bud Light or whatever. In Australia, you can't get light beer.
It just tastes shit too. That's what I'm saying.
I am, as of yesterday, a week sober. Man, that's good.
Yeah, we're skipping to that.
Oh, I just wanted to mention it real quickly.
Oh, we're going to talk about it in more depth later on.
Oh, we can do.
Yep. Did I actually... I don't think I wrote it down. Fuck it, tell us now.
That's all I have to say.
Oh, you've been sober for a week? Okay.
So, overnight, stopped all the tobacco and its byproducts and eating meat. So
you're not smoking either?
No.
Jesus.
This is all overnight and any booze. And man, I'm so much... It's not
feel fresher.
Productive. Like, I'm doing the same amount of work, but I'm just getting it right the first time, and my head's just locked into where I need to be. It's dope.
Yeah, not like hazy and like losing concentration and stuff like that.
I'm just having to redo shit just because it's like you're in two minds. But now, flickers on straight ahead. It's
you're an inspiration for us all, Kevin.
And trust me, if I can do it, anybody can do it. So just lock your mind into what you need to, where you see yourself going, and just do that shit. Don't worry about all the side.
So, yeah. Good. On the right track.
I'm feeling great. Bam!
Boom. Are we going to talk any more about Buckingham Palace with royalty before you kind of move into the...
I saw some beef eaters here today, and the good thing about them is that they do stay silent. So we'll have no, the beef eaters, the guards and shit.
They've got the woolly hats. Yeah.
They go up in their face, and they're just like...
I think there's a really good Simpsons joke about that, wasn't there? Which is good. Yeah.
I don't remember what it is, though. Anyway.
I don't remember what episode it is either, no, but
Simpsons is good. It's always been a consistent series, I think.
Really? Yeah. Always? Like, I reckon after season 8.
Yeah, it dipped around 7 and 8, but then
we talked about
13 went back up.
Oh, you see, I think I probably stopped
every week, right?
I don't know. I think we talked about the drop in quality of Simpsons though once, and I was saying I actually did see one recently, which was really funny.
Yep.
We talked about that a while ago. So, yeah, it's an issue of contention. But I don't think, like, Simpsons has ever gone back to being on par that they were at, like, season 3 till
TV's changed. Entertainment's changed. People don't need the same kind of shit. Like, when you watch old episodes of sitcoms and shit, I don't want to talk about this because we did last week.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
1 week.
But when I was talking about the Lego Simpsons episode...
yeah.
So, as a follow-up of that, I watched it and it's kind of poor.
Right.
Just watch a Lego movie instead.
Yeah.
Good concept, but to try to wrap that up into 30 minutes, it didn't work.
Probably a bit too novel. A bit, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Probably.
Well, let's move on to our one of our continuous
recurring
segments. Ongoing coverage.
So here at Funniness is a Warm Gun, we like to keep you abreast of all things that's important to us and the world around us. And the MH370 coverage is something that we've put our stamp on every week and kept you...
Put our resources toward, yeah.
We have crack reporters, like not actually crack reporters, but just reporters that are on crack.
Like
that,
me and
that look for,
Kevin, yeah.
look for any breaking news around the search of this missing plane.
Mm-hmm.
This week, what have they come back and told us?
They still haven't found it, Kevin. So at the moment, the MH370 flight is still missing. So it's still the biggest story of the year.
It is.
And we're not gonna lose our scent at all.
Yep.
We're gonna stay on it and bring you those kind of updates continuously going forward in the future and episodes to come.
Do you think they're still actually putting the same amount of resources and money and stuff that they used to?
I don't know about the same amount, but they're
I
still
think they've dropped it. I don't know. I don't think they'll if they were, they'll still be like, yeah, we're still trying to find it. They're just like not mentioning anymore, which probably means they're not putting resources behind it.
Have they sent in the dolphins yet?
The dolphins are already there.
Yeah? Alright. But I mean, have they actually recruited the dolphins and gone like, can you help us?
Maybe, yeah, maybe they should.
Because dolphins are good.
Yeah.
Like that.
They will help out. I'm pretty sure if they extended the hand of friendship. Like, hey, dolphins, just this one time we'll like hook you up with tuna or whatever. No, wait, what do they eat?
Oh, I'm pretty sure they like
dolphin
tuna.
food. We'll give you dolphin food if you help us find this.
Premium dolphin.
They'll be like, oh, we know where it is. We've fucking been on it.
Yeah.
Down here.
They always help out when we need. So that's my recommendation to
Aquaman.
the Malaysian
Aquaman,
government.
where's Aquaman? You fucking flip through these comic books, he does nothing. When we actually need him, where's Aquaman?
What about
Mermaids.
yeah.
Any mermaids watching?
Or like Michael Phelps.
Oh, he's already passed out.
Really, that again? Last time I mentioned Michael Phelps, you made a stunner joke too.
Well,
he smokes pot once.
And then he's branded for life.
For life. And you join it and you join the victimization.
As a stand-up comedian, you understand that certain
what,
people
that you should take cheap shots and make hack jokes that are easy. Right.
Exactly.
No.
Couldn't have said it any better myself.
Okay.
Bill Clinton's not out there like playboying it up anymore, but still, you make a joke about that and it's fun.
Yeah, he is.
Same
He
thing.
totally fucked us earlier. We talked about that on a previous episode. There's so many episodes we have. Every kind of conversation topic we've broached, we've actually kind of brought it up before. It's you know, good. We've got a body of work now, Kevin.
This is true.
But as you saw back in episode whatever it was, I'm pretty sure Bill Clinton's.
Yep, still. They say to know where you're going, you need to know where you came from. So the fact that we can reference ourselves. And that is the ongoing coverage of the MH370. I hope you learned something.
Yep, thanks for tuning in. We'll have more for you next week.
Cool.
Now, speaking of news stories.
Something that you've come across.
Yeah, that's what this is all about, really. A large portion of it is kind of covering the week's events.
So
can I hear the plane out there, by the way? Is that going to come through in the audio? Yeah. Sorry about that, guys, if you can hear it. But,
yeah, idiots like me that haven't seen like the major news stories can be enlightened by yourself.
Yeah, and vice versa. Like, Kevin will sometimes be more informed about something or
sometimes
informed at all. But anyway,
so this week.
The big story I wanted to go over was the, now I might mispronounce his name. It's Bergdahl, which, if you look at it on paper, it sounds like Bergdahl, but I think it's something kind of American, like Bergdahl.
Bergdahl.
Yeah, which sounds very... Anyway, we'll go into why that's kind of somewhat significant. Not really. So back in 2009, this guy was captured by the Taliban over in Afghanistan, and so he's been captive for 5 years, and just this week they got him back, and it's been a very controversial sort of event. So let me try and just run over.
Was Barack involved?
Yes, Barack Obama was directly involved well, that's it, but some people say knock it on you.
Oh, what are you doing?
Getting ourselves back. Well, okay, here we go. So I'll give you the background. So back in like 2009,
background.
Yeah, he became very disenfranchised with with the American military and started writing back to his parents saying, I don't, I'm just looking for a quote on my phone, that's why I'm looking down, but I'll try and keep talking. So, wrote back to his parents saying, this country's shit and the war's lame and we suck.
Imagine you do that now.
Right now to being returned. So,
okay. I thought you were talking about Barack writing these things.
Oh no! I don't think you could ever. I don't think you could ever get away with that and be president.
Don't know.
So that's one thing, but there's also the conditions under where he got caught. Some people allege that he walked off on purpose,
okay.
Or as they call it, deserted. So I'm just trying to find a quote from one of his, when I was reading about it today to kind of get myself informed. There was a quote from one of his, compadres, like fellow, servicemen.
So why was this guy singled out to get freed?
Okay, so, just give me 2 seconds and I will go into that.
Or was it the captees? The people who captured him, was it them that said, you can have this one dude?
So they negotiated with the president, saying that, first they asked for $1 million plus like 26 Taliban captives. And this is where it's getting kind of controversial. And the president, or the president's people, I don't think Barack was listening on the phone with these people, but they ended up agreeing to a compromise of, okay, no money, but we'll give you 5 of your men back and you give us this guy. And that obviously led to quite a lot of criticism that they got a raw deal and everything. But what
America should
okay, I found the quote I was looking for, and now I can pay attention.
Okay.
So, Bergdahl told Fry, who's one of his fellow servicemen, before the deployment in Afghanistan, quote, "If this deployment is lame, I'm just going to walk off into the mountains of Pakistan."
Okay.
It's a pretty sus quote. So, they agreed to release 5, and he got some criticism for that, like it's a raw deal. And when I first read it, I was kind of like, my initial reaction was, wait, I thought, like, first of all, the US doesn't negotiate with terrorists.
Yep.
But then I read a bit more, and first of all, it turns out they've actually got quite a long, rich history of negotiating with terrorists. And also, the Taliban actually aren't technically terrorists. They've never been on the US list of terrorists. They're like military insurgents. They're not associated with Al-Qaeda, so they don't fly planes and shoot into civilian targets or any of that. And then the other thing, which makes me kind of go probably more on Obama's side than anything, is apparently because they are winding down their operations in Afghanistan and everything, they would have needed to release those people from Guantanamo Bay eventually anyway.
Yep. So they'll get one back.
So, yeah, they got one back.
What I would do if I was President of the United States,
mm-hmm.
Imagine how my sis would flip out the I don't know what to call them, they're not terrorists, they're the opposing side. Imagine if they just go, let's just free everyone. Hakum Matata motherfuckers, and they'll be like, oh shit, they're not a bad country after all.
Yeah, I know it would work that way.
And everyone would just hold hands and walk into the sunset.
Yeah. But, or like maybe like a compromise of that, like instead of torturing people, give them ice cream.
Yeah, give them like at least a PlayStation or something.
Yeah, and so when they come back, they're like, actually, it was a pretty good prison.
It's
actually way better. Way better than living in the mountains with you guys. So.
Next summer holidays, I'll show you around.
Yeah. Sorry for taking so long to find the quote, but basically it
was worth it. That was a good quote.
His activity, his behaviour before going missing was first of all highly suspicious in terms of like his sentiments toward the US and the operations and everything. Plus that quote, like, I'll just walk off or whatever. The Taliban claim he got...
What is... The dude who's snitching, like, released that information.
Well, because his fellow...
shut.
But his like fellow servicemen don't like him very much because he deserted them and like compromised their safety and everything.
Maybe, just maybe, they've implanted him or like taken over his body, and now there's a terrorist infiltrating them.
We'll get to that soon too, because that's the other thing. But I was going to say before going into that aspect
I can't believe that's the other thing. All right.
Before going into that aspect of it, when one thing that's kind of annoying about, say, the Republican opposition to the whole thing is like, okay, look, he may very well have like deliberately ran away and like deserted his fellow service members. That he totally may have done that, but what, you want to leave him with the Taliban? No, you get him back and then you put him on trial. Like, what's your point? What do you think we should have done? That's the one. But okay,
wait, why are you putting him on trial?
Because it's a crime to desert.
Really?
Yeah. Well, otherwise, would it stop soldiers from just being like? Pfft,
they should have that right
to just like not fight the war anymore.
I believe so. But anyway,
be hard to. I don't think any country allows that. Maybe Sweden. But
what about it's like you get enlisted against your will? Then if you try to like bail out, then you're going against the law. That's pretty fucked.
Yeah, that's draft dodging.
It makes total logical sense, but I think it's fucked.
It's like treason.
It's not treason.
Pretty much.
You're just like, I'm just gonna chill over here for a sec.
Anyway, I mean, I don't want to look down my nose too much because honestly, if I was drafted, I'd probably run away. I don't want to fucking strap on a gun and go.
Exactly.
Anyway, so the terrorist thing. That's the other thing I want to talk about. It's kind of really interesting. Have you ever watched Homeland?
No.
The plot of Homeland is like this guy, this POW, prisoner of war, has been taken by the opposing people, and then he gets saved. But then, like, it turns out that maybe he's a double agent and everything. Oh. So it's like really similar. Like, it's a really far-fetched kind of unlikely sort of scenario, and now it's kind of almost unfolded. I mean, he's probably not a double agent, let's face it, but okay.
I'm making the call.
Alright.
You ever read or know of the Art of War, the Sun Tzu?
I know of it.
Manual?
I've actually read The War of Art.
Wow. Did you just have the book upside down?
It's just kind of a motivational book. It's like a play on words, but yeah. But anyway, go on.
No, just a real quick one is that it's like it's military strategy, but it's also like how to deal with conflict and shit. But the major goal for resolving a conflict or to get the upper hand on the other team is to get one of their guys to become a traitor onto your team. Like that's the ultimate. Once you do that, you've got the one up.
Right. So it's like the best rule of all.
Yeah, like you could kill them or you could take their land or whatever, but if you take their people and bring them over to your side, then that's the
war is won.
Yeah, or the battle's won.
Okay.
Anyway, that's just a little bit of Kev's tip.
Mm-hmm.
If you're ever in battle.
Speaking of ongoing things, reoccurring.
Yep.
I believe a lot of people got shot in America this week.
Yeah.
I didn't hear much about it. You can tell me about this one.
Well, I just saw it real quick on the news. There was the headline was 5 people dead in a shooting in America. What it was a couple, a dude and his wife, went to, I'm going to say, a fast food restaurant with bulletproof vests on and guns in their duffel bags.
Right.
And they see these 2 cops and they go up to them and execution style, like bam, bam. And then they go...
Married couple?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then they're like saying something about it's a revolution coming, and then they went to this other dude that was sitting in the takeaway shop and he said, the wife said to him, if anyone comes and gets your statement, let them know that we said it's a revolution. And then I think they killed another dude, and then the chick killed her husband and then turned the gun on herself. So that makes 5 people. 2 cops.
Was there a revolution?
Oh,
did America get overthrown, or?
It's coming, apparently.
Oh, so it was all for naught, really.
Yeah, but okay, so...
How long ago was it?
It was breaking news today, so I'm assuming it was today or yesterday. So
okay, so you give them 48 hours, yeah, maybe there'll be a revolution.
So in 48 hours from now, if there's no revolution, then it's just a worthless shooting.
Yeah. Well, it ended up being a senseless shooting rather than one of those ones that totally makes sense and was called for.
Yeah, there's some logical... no, let's not go there. But when we were speaking about old mate who, the dude with the videos... The most recent shooting with the dude.
Oh,
the anti-girl guy.
Elliot Rodger.
Yeah. So his whole motivation was girls aren't liking him and shit. So now let's flip that argument all the way around. And there's this married couple. So they're like happily married. They've made a suicide pact. So they're like, and they're still shooting motherfuckers.
Yeah. So no matter what, there's always But
it was funny because the next news article after that was in I'm going to say India, and it could be totally wrong. It's not India. Another country that's not America.
Right.
A whole bunch of people acted like police, and then everyone's like, "Oh, police, what do you want us to do?" And then they shot like 24 people. And it's like, and that was done in like a minute. Whereas this US situation, which had 5 people killed, 2 of which were under their own fault, dead, and that got like 8 times as long as 24 people died in this country. Don't worry about that.
Right. Yeah.
It's sensationalism.
Definitely.
It sucks that it happened. But what are you gonna do?
I guess Americans are just more important.
It sells. And the more you do it, the more people are like, all right, well, it's my turn to get a bit of fame. What happened last week? I'll do the same shit.
There was actually a thing on Charlie Brooker's Newswire they have. It's a really good segment. I saw it posted on Reddit, and they were just saying every time there's mass shooting like this, we should always repost the segment. And it's basically this: they got like a guy to kind of sit down, like a psychiatrist, and explain all the stuff that we could do to prevent these shootings. And like first and foremost, like the media, please stop putting their face on the screen. Don't put their face on the screen.
Yep. Their names. Yeah, absolutely.
You might have to, like, for the sake of reporting, you might have to just quickly mention it really quickly, just to give the relevant events, but then after that's covered, you just don't talk about the shooter anymore. Just talk about the shooting.
If somebody does something that's, and they've been arrested for it, but they haven't had a trial and they haven't been convicted, that they can't mention their name or whatever. So shouldn't that be the same thing? Like, if there's footage of a dude killing somebody, he hasn't, like, it's obvious that he did it, but maybe he didn't. Because
I think they're allowed to say alleged shooter, though, and, like, talk about what he might. I think they're allowed to. Okay. I don't know what the specific rules are there. I think it's usually victims who can't be named.
I don't know, or maybe it's certain types of crimes or something.
Yeah, particular ones. Depending, I guess, on what the court says, but, the thing like shootings, then before there are any, like, you're just like, oh shit, like, we're coming from here, we found a video of this guy, and he says so, like, he's like, you don't have time for a judge to go and review it and say, and you can't get, because he hasn't even been.
No, but I agree, they shouldn't post their faces.
Yeah.
Because that's, if they're doing it just
invasion
for that
of
reason,
privacy.
That will stop it.
Yeah. What I was going to say, the thing again though with the, I just reminded about that guy who shot up, the really horrible one, the Sandy Hook shooting. I'm forgetting his name, but I won't try and remember it.
Exactly.
Whatever his name was. Because with Elliot Rodger, like, we were talking about the other week, people saying, oh, this is a symptom of our society and the way women are seen as objects or whatever. No, it's not. Like, mass shootings are always, there's a deeper kind of just wrongness in their head. It's not really a symptom of any other side other than just like video games or anything like that. I was reading about the guy who shot up Sandy Hook a little while ago, because that was in particular, there was like no motivation whatsoever. They really couldn't figure out what was going on there, except for the fact that he was crazy, but there was no extensive motivation.
Yep.
Like with
no videos posted, no manifestos.
But there was actually like they found out he was posting on a forum like about mass shooters and everything, and he was basically, again, like, just fucking crazy. Like, you read his stuff, and he was just, there's no other way to say it. Just ramblings of a madman.
But people do extreme things. Like, some people make $1 million and give it all to charity. Like, that's an extreme thing. Some people wild out and go shoot up people. That's an extreme thing.
Well, there was
even
like a theory, one theory posited is that he killed the kids out of, like, mercy. Because he thought that the world was, like, so dark and so bad that he was, like, saving them from...
Yeah, exactly.
Growing up in it.
There was another shooting that was earlier in the weekend. It was a dude who... I think he killed his wife or something. But he was like a gamer, a computer dude.
Uh-huh.
And his alibi... It was his wife and his fiancé or whatever. And his alibi, and that got him to the insanity plea and got him out of prison, is... There was computer gods telling him to kill his wife, and when he was standing trial,
they let him out of prison after he said that.
This is before he was convicted. So in the trial, he was just broke down. He's just like, dude, I'm fucked up, and they're like, and even the victim's family's like, all right, just like get him his help. Like he's not a bad dude, just sort him out.
Uh-huh.
But that's kind of things just trigger people.
Yeah, people are crazy. All right. So, look, speaking of killing a lot of people
and computer
stuff, I've got a bit of a video game review.
Throwback review.
Yeah, throwback review. So there's this game I used to play a bit when I was a kid, Populous at the beginning. I only really played the demo, but I would build up my army even within the limited confines of the demo. I'd have fun with it and figure out fun ways to. But I ended up downloading this game called Populous at the beginning and getting the actual full thing.
Remember when games had demos? They don't have demo games anymore.
I guess they don't. I don't know. Did I know?
The demo is that you watch a YouTube video of like a trailer or whatever. You don't actually get a playable demo anymore. I don't think so.
Okay.
Bring that shit back.
Yeah, it was sweet. It's like this. Even though it was back in '98, very very outdated now, it still holds up. It's still a lot of fun. Sure. So it's one of those kind of God's eye view ones. And the cool thing about this, most just have units, and you just get the armies to fight each other. But in Populous, you have a shaman, one player who will always get reincarnated so long as one or more of your people are still alive. And she's way more powerful than anyone else. And she can do all these kind of cool spells and shit. And you're probably wondering, so Matt, how do you lose the game? You've got this fucking this piece, but
because they have one as well.
They have one too, So the
Battle
trick,
of the shamans.
Yeah, the trick really is as soon as you're invading the base, just fucking kill the shaman as quickly as possible. And then kind of bee blast everyone else to kind of scatter them. It's my best strategy. And also just build up as much population as possible. So basically, what you do is you build tons of huts.
Yeah.
So you said tons and tons and tons of people spawning.
So you're playing this again? You've revisited it?
Yeah, I'm on level 8 now, and there's this big fucking mountain, so even though I've got all these people, by the time I get over, I lose sight of my shaman, and they keep killing me, and it's fine, because I've got all these fucking huts back there, so I just respawn really quickly, and I'm still safe, but I figured out I'm just going to stop going through their main entrance. I'm going to go around the back and get them that way.
Yep. Sneak attack
when I go home, yeah. So let's see if that strategy works. But I guess I was going to say Populous at the beginning. It's good. I recommend checking it out if you want to, especially if you played it when you were 10 and you want some nostalgia.
Revisit.
Yeah, nostalgia's always good.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I've been playing. I mentioned it last week about Watch Dogs, and I had no real thoughts about it last week, so I just started. But now there's a point, and if anyone's playing the game, they'll understand what I mean by this term. When you open your world, it's a whole different game, and then it gets fucking dope. And I'm really enjoying the game now, yeah.
Okay.
There's the gripe I had before was that a lot of it is you're in this building, you solve your little mission, and then you got to go to the other side of town.
Yeah.
So you got to get in the car and shit, and that kind of, I don't like that. If it was built around a building, and the whole game is that you have to hack and win this building, then that would be my ultimate game. Now, there's side missions where you got to escape the police in your car and shit. No, I don't really do that kind of shit. But if you have the patience to get through probably 7 playable hours of the game, and then you open your world, that shit gets dope.
Right.
So there's this one point that I wanted to point out. There's a whole lot of little side missions, where you can get, you find a criminal who's killed somebody. And then you hack his phone, you see his text messages that says, "Oh, no one will find me." You're like, right, I'm going to get this motherfucker. So you're vigilante style shit. But then as well, you can get these digital trips. So there's these little drug dealers. So have you ever tried a digital trip? And you take one, your whole world just goes kaleidoscope, and you start bouncing off flowers and shit. It doesn't take itself too seriously. There's a whole lot of shit to do around, away from the main mission. These little side missions, you can have a lot of fun if you just explore and open your world.
Good, okay. So, Watch Dogs, good game.
So far, yeah. I'm going to see it to completion, and so far I've had a good time playing it.
That's what she said.
Stay patient. So
See
Zinga.
completion.
Oh, and I got to correct myself as well. Last week, I said his name was Adrian. It's actually Aiden, so my bad.
Oh, right.
If you're watching Aiden, my bad.
Okay, so that was we both did a video game review.
Yeah.
Video game reviews happen sometimes, but every week...
I'll just say this real quick. The downside of it is the driving. There's the controls of the car, you just crash your car and shit all the time.
It's like playing GTA. Every time a new GTA comes out, the physics are always a little bit different, so you kind of when you start, it gets, yeah. I know
but it's annoying. If you want to get a driving game, if you want to whatever, you do that. if you want a game about hacking and controlling buildings and people's IT and technology and whatever, like, it should be built around that. The amount of times I crashed the cars in that game, incredible. And speaking of car crashes,
oh no, I mean no. Your review.
I just took like 3 minutes in that beautiful segue.
But
severed.
So we're gonna do that, or what about you? Are you gonna review the movie for us?
No, I've talked too much in the last 8 minutes.
So no review this week?
No, later on. But speaking of car crashes...
Yeah, Tracey Morgan was in one.
I read rumours he had to have his leg amputated.
Really?
But obviously there's a rumour, and I don't think... They've announced now he's expected to make a full recovery.
Yeah, he's in critical condition still. They haven't changed his status.
Yeah, right.
So fingers crossed he's okay, but I guess usually if you're not dead by this point, you know. So I mean, hopefully he comes out alright.
Yeah. Apparently he was driving a limo.
I don't think he was the driver.
That's what I heard.
He was driving?
Yeah, that's why.
I don't know. I think it was the fault of Walmart or something. Like a Walmart truck caused the tip over or something like that.
A truck hit them, yeah.
Jesus. See, yeah, that would hurt.
Mm.
That'd be tough.
I thought so with Tracey Morgan. I like Tracey Morgan.
Yeah, I do too. I don't follow him a lot, but
Neil.
I like him on Dirty Rock.
Yep. I get a few laughs from his material. So.
Have you watched his stand-up comedy? Okay.
I've seen him when he does late nights and whatever, his little spots, where basically people don't ask him questions. He just gets on there with the routine
and just starts rambling. Yeah.
I've seen a few 30 Rocks and shit. Some people are spirited to make people laugh, and he's one of those people. He's
better to work with than Bruce Willis, apparently. Kevin Smith. Do you know that movie Cop Out? Did you see anything about that?
Oh yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Is it any good?
It's not a movie.
Yeah.
It's a movie, but it's not.
Apparently Bruce Willis was fucking impossible during that, and he was saying that like Tracey Morgan was like a godsend. So there you go. He's better than Bruce Willis.
Directed by Kevin Smith.
Yeah, strange, isn't it? Because I know he usually does his own stuff, but this was I think the only thing that was not written by Kevin Smith that was directed by Kevin Smith.
That's weird.
I think he initially did it to work with Bruce Willis again. I think because he worked with him on Die Hard and really enjoyed it.
Okay.
And then found when he did the full film with him.
Wait, Kevin Smith worked on Die Hard?
Die Hard 4. Really? Yeah.
As what? Director again?
No. He was he did a cameo on it.
Okay.
He gets a cameo. By the way, man, Jesus, Die Hard's been done to death. Are they doing a 6th one?
They shouldn't.
I don't know. I didn't see number 5. By the time number 5 came around, I was like, I'm not dealing with it. Didn't he have a son in that one? He never had a son. He had a daughter. Anyway, I forget, but...
Die Hard, was that one with Danny Glover?
No, it's got a guy who's... I don't think so. It's got, a guy who I think you could mistake for Danny Glover, but...
To tell you the truth, I don't think I've actually paid conscious attention to watching any Die Hard movies.
Have you... The first one's great, though. First one's, one of the best Christmas movies ever.
Christmas?
I know. It's not really, it's not a family movie, obviously, but... It's one of those movies that, it's set during Christmas and, for some reason, just, it smells like Christmas.
You're right.
You watch it, for me, the two movies that are like that, there's a bunch of Christmas movies.
Home Alone?
Yeah, Home Alone and Die Hard. Those are the two.
Okay. What about Jingle All the Way?
No, I mean...
That was a joke. It's a bad movie.
What is Jingle All the Way?
It's like Schwarzenegger trying to be like a...
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, look, there's a ton of, really great Christmas movies, but, those are the only two that I think actually, they feel like Christmas when I watch them. Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to revisit it.
Yeah, Die Hard 1 is definitely legit. Okay. Die Hard 2 and Die Hard 3 is alright. Die Hard 3 is alright. But Die Hard 1 is definitely the one.
Okay. There was another... was Bruce Willis in Armageddon?
Oh, yeah, he was.
That was a good movie. That's what I have to say about that.
Classic American cheesy action.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Surprised to hear that Kevin Smith directed Cop Out, though.
And you should be surprised. It's, doesn't seem like a Kevin Smith movie.
One of my favourite horror directors, John Carpenter.
Mm-hmm.
So he did... he's
Halloween.
Most famous for doing a lot of Halloweens, yeah.
Yeah. The Thing?
So my movie review this week is 1982 movie The Thing.
Oh, there you go. Another one for one. Do you have the DVD with you, or we're not doing it this week?
I actually saw it at a friend's house on Blu-ray.
I haven't seen it. I know of it, but I haven't seen it.
I hadn't seen it either before this this screening that I saw, and it's a different kind of movie. You know, last week I was speaking about Rosemary's Baby, which is a horror movie without the horror. So this is kind of in the same vein. It's a psychological horror movie with gore, but that's the only element of horror there is to it. Mm-hmm. So basically, the plot is there's these whole bunch of scientists that are dropped in Antarctica, and they're like, "Hey, scientists, go be scientists and do science stuff," and then they one by one start getting body snatched or getting overtaken by something. They don't know what it is.
Right.
They find out it's a organism which infects blood, and then once it starts infecting people, it makes them go loco. The whole thing, you're wondering, oh, is this guy being infected by the thing, or is he legit or whatever? And then they figure out a way to tell, to tell if they've been infected. Let me just put up this little our friend.
It's spoiler, man.
So when you see this guy for the second time, if you want to unmute the thing, that's when the spoilers will stop. So the spoiler starts now. At the end of it, you basically find out that they still don't know what the thing is, but they know who's been infected. Everyone gets annihilated except for the last two people, one of which is the main character, who's played by who's the dude? Kurt Russell.
Yep, classic staple of the 80s.
Who in this movie looks a splitting image of Jim Morrison when he blew himself out and got
really
his long hair and beard. Yeah, looks exactly
Kurt Russell,
like
eh?
The whole thing, I was just like, Mr. Mojo rising in the house. So him and this other dude are like, we finally killed the thing, and then they're like, oh, we are the thing, and then it fades to black kind of thing. So they kind of opened up for a second sequel. I don't know if they made a sequel or not, but enjoyable movie. Let me just get these spoilers back off. Enjoyable movie. The special effects to a modern audience is laughable. Like it's 1982. There was no technology, no CGI, obviously. There's a few little interesting things as well. One of the characters was called Windows, and the other one is called Mac. And
right. Wait. That was
82, like before the whole like.
It's interesting. So it was before those companies actually existed.
Before they became like.
Right. Before they were
first place. So obviously they couldn't have known that was going to transpire. And
so it's prophecy, which is scary.
It was. Yeah, let's put it down to that. Enjoyable for fans of comedical gore scenes. Yeah. There's a dope little scene where the thing infects this person, and then he gets decapitated, so he becomes the head. The head spins upside down.
How do they when they do that? What are the effects like? Do they is it kind of tacky now? Or?
It's real tacky.
Okay, right.
Yeah, but that's why this bit is great, because it looks so bad that like there's his decapitated head upside down, and then it sprouts spider legs and starts walking around. And when you see that shit, it's like And the only way to kill the thing is to freeze it, and then when it gets unthawed, it fucks up the next people that come and find it, or to kill it with fire. So most of the shit gets smithereened by
the
fire. No, the thing gets taken by the fire.
Right. Yeah.
Good movie. I was surprised to find out that it was a remake of the original, which was The Thing from Outer Space, and then now there's a remake, which is 2011 released. So basically...
Oh yeah, I saw that when I was... because I've been listening, but while you've been IMDbing, I've been looking at it on IMDb just to confirm, because I could have sworn it was on the top 250. But
it's iconic, and you can see that a lot of things came from that movie. Again, a lot of things came from the original movie. But but for it to be relevant for 3 generations, if you probably watch the 2011 version now, it's probably like more... you wouldn't laugh at the special effects or whatever. Yeah. But it's interesting.
I don't think it cracked the top 250, but it's definitely it's 8.2, which is that's getting up there in terms of. I think 9 is like the highest rated IMDb. I can't fucking the app sucks. Like I don't know how I can tell if it's on top 250 or not just by looking at the page, but I couldn't see it on top 250 for ones that got an 8.2. So
it's in my top 250.
which goes toward the... And yeah, sorry I keep being distracted by my phone. It's just fucking... Once I want to see something...
And now this segment's over and you still have no answers.
I know it's an 8.2, but I don't know if it's top 250 on IMDb.
What is top 250? What is this term?
That's the 250 films that have the highest ratings from users if you also take into account how many people voted. So originally you could have a 10, but if only 5 people voted, then you don't make the top 250. But if you've got like 700,000 votes and you get an average of 8, then yeah. But anyway, yes, they're top 250 films as per their sort of standard of rating them through ratings.
John Carpenter has stated this is one of his favourite movies. It flopped like a motherfucker because in '82 when it came out, it was just after or just before E.T. And everyone was like, Spielberg. So he's like, hey, check this out, Halloween, and then he's made his career and his name off Halloween. So one to watch. And
who cares about the IMDb rating? How many John Stammerses does it get?
The important rating is that I give it an 8.5 John Stamoses out of 10.
That's high. Because 9 is really your top rating.
9 is my 10.
Yeah.
So
this is damn near perfect.
I like it for the piece of time that it held. I think it... Like, you can watch E.T. and that's an iconic movie, but this... If you watch it, you're like, this should have been an iconic movie kind of thing.
Yeah.
So for the movie alone, not for external views or whatever on it, I think it's a very good movie, and I give it an almost perfect 8.5 out of 10.
Right. Okay. Good. Okay. Well, thank you, John Carpenter, for making that movie.
Yep.
So you can review it. Now, I do have a hot tip coming up, but I don't think my hot tip's going to be long enough with Dumb Dusted to carry out the hour. So I figured I may as well do a bit of a review of TV.
Okay.
Game of Thrones, baby. We've talked about it before on the podcast.
And I still know nothing about it.
It's very popular, but you don't plan on watching it, so I can ruin it all for you, right? Yep. I guess I'll put this little man up right now because... I'm
the only person that doesn't watch it, so everybody else needs to spoiler it.
Yeah, alright. And then I'll put it back up once there's no more spoilerific stuff. So, last week's episode, very controversial because... one of the more liked characters died a gruesome old death.
Right.
Like, I know sometimes like the hero dies or whatever, but it's usually kind of noble or whatever. It was like a really horrible death. So, basically, Prince Oberyn, I think was his name. He's kind of like...
Oh, not Prince Oberyn.
He's this kind of like super sexual kind of Eastern European kind of guy. And he was doing a sword fight to save this midget's life.
That old story.
Yeah.
Come on with new shit.
And he's fighting this really big man, like stupidly, ridiculously giant. I think like the actor is like 6'8" and like some huge weight. But anyway, he's getting the better of him through like his jousting skills and gets him on his back. Then he starts to gloat a little bit. So like he's on his back, he's been stabbed several times, the mountain they call him, he's down.
Oh, the big dude's down.
Yeah.
Whoa, okay.
And Oberyn's like, yeah, that's right, admit it, you killed my sister, you raped her, blah blah blah. And he's kind of making a big spectacle of it. And then he turns his back on the mountain and like starts like fucking telling the crowd to go fuck themselves and everything. Then the mountain fucking flips him over his foot, gets on top of him, eye gouges him, and uses his, like, with his own hands, fucking gouges his eyes out, and then uses the strength of his 2 hands to squeeze his skull until it pops. So, people were really, not happy to see that because...
I love the fact that somebody actually did mute themselves there, and then you would have just seen it.
Yeah. But it was very controversial, you know, people were, because Game of Thrones...
But that's a good lesson, there. You don't... Until the fat lady sings, you don't fucking...
Yeah, there's a lesson in it. That's why Game of Thrones is unpopular too. I would put up Little Man again, but you know what, quite frankly... Okay, I'm gonna do a bunch of other spoilers, but it's for, like, previous seasons and, like, episodes, maybe this season, though, but, like, 3 weeks old or whatever. So if you haven't seen them, just fucking turn the podcast, go watch them, and then come back, because you shouldn't be...
Well, my spoiler was 32 years ago.
Yeah, I guess
Anyway.
so. Anyway, like, Game of Thrones, I'll try not to give any specifics, but Game of Thrones fans, I guess, have gotten a bit of a beating, because quite consistently, like, almost every season, maybe, they always kill off, often brutally, like, some of the more beloved characters. Although, I kind of disagree, because although some said characters have been cool, they've never been the ones that I've been most interested in. My favourite ones, like Tyrion, who actually looks like he's got bad odds at the moment, but he's not dead yet. Tyrion and, like, Daenerys or Khaleesi, who's probably my number one favourite, like, yeah. They've been fine. They've gone unscathed, so I'm not complaining too much. They had to kill someone to keep it interesting. And they killed some bad people too, so...
They put, like, porn actresses in that and stuff?
I imagine so. There's some...
I read something about that.
Well, there's a lot of, like, orgies and shit that just kind of happen.
But apparently, like, they're off-screen, they're, like, still on-screen people.
Well, it makes sense, though, because they're getting them to do some rather graphic stuff.
So that's kind of
sometimes.
cool, and then they're like, kill them. Sorry.
Well,
I'll find some...
I don't know, they don't kill that many whores in this show. I'm sure some have died. But it makes sense, though, because, like, some, like... Even if you're a professional actress, like, you're an actress and you're professional, if they're getting you to, like, kind of mind going down on a girl while getting another girl to spank you and, like, kissing and like, it's a bit much.
Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Holy moly.
I mean, it's HBO, so they can do whatever they want, like.
I'm glad I was staying away from those.
Yeah, there's a lot of titties in it. Most of which I'm fine with, but there's some of it's pretty gratuitous. Like, for instance, to give you an idea of one that isn't gratuitous, Terry and I was mentioning, like, you know, he likes his prostitutes, right? And so there's part
They need love too.
Yeah, so there's part of his character, and there's a scene, I think in the first episode, where, like, his brother, like, interrupts him while he's having sex, and he's kind of like, hey, what are you doing, brother? And then, like, before his brother leaves, his brother, like, kind of calls upon, like, 3 other girls to rush in and whatever, and they jump on him, and, like, that's just kind of, like, that's illustrating his character. Yep. But then there's, like, another scene, like, okay, later in the series, where it's just it's like just a fucking orgy that's just out of nowhere, and it's really graphic, and it, like, if I want to see that, I watch porn. Like, I don't understand what... It's my only complaint that sometimes in Game of Thrones, sometimes they have nudity, which I think is kind of gratuitous.
Yeah, exactly, they do it just for the sake of... We've got a little...
Stimulating you,
like,
yeah.
You ever seen that True Blood?
I watched a couple of episodes, couldn't really get into it.
The same kind of thing, like, they had a story, and the story was strong, but then they just had to, you know, have a bit of violence, a bit of sex and stuff.
Mm. And we're not offended, like, I'm fine with violence and sex and stuff in films, but it needs to be serving a purpose to the narrative.
Exactly. Yeah. I think our time, not just us, but your time is valuable. You don't, like, you need something that ties in with, you know, whether it's watching a movie, ties in with the end plot or whatever. You just throw random scenes in.
Yeah. Anyway, 51 minutes, I think we're fine to get back to the official schedule of topics we've planned. So, hope you enjoyed that cultural review.
Yeah.
And now...
I wouldn't know what to call it, but cultural review is probably the best term.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thanks.
And let's keep running on your hot tip for this week.
Yep. Do you want to make sure we make a jingle?
I'll beatbox.
When you're in a bind, don't worry, just come to FIAWG and get Matt's hot tip. That was awful. But anyway, we did our best. Matt's hot tip.
What's bad is that we did our best.
Yeah. It's an irregular segment where I will give you a useful piece of information, a tip, essentially, a life hack.
I'm all ears like a Ferengi.
So, sometimes you want to make breakfast.
Yes.
I'm
with you.
But maybe you don't have time to, like, cook in the pan for too long, and, you know. But maybe you don't want to pour yourself cereal, maybe it's too boring. Maybe you can't afford money to go out and actually buy breakfast.
Well, there's no milk.
Yeah.
Bowl's got to be cracking it.
Well, that's if you scramble the eggs, it doesn't matter if, but, you know. But maybe you just got the eggs, you don't have the bacon, and you've got no milk, so you can't make scrambled eggs.
What's the solution, Matt?
Poached eggs.
Oh!
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah, I haven't made poached eggs before, but I was kind of had a day off. I was like, just try to. Why not?
Find out how you make it. Or you just...
Yeah, I quickly looked it up.
So, how do you do that? I had no idea.
Pretty much how I thought you'd do it, except it turns out I didn't know vinegar was quite necessary, or something like vinegar that kind of helps keep it together.
Okay.
So yeah, you heat up the pot until it's boiling, and then you put like about a tablespoon or so of vinegar in. I guess you stir it. Maybe you don't have to stir it, but I stirred it.
So the whole pot is water, and then you put a teaspoon of vinegar.
About a tablespoon, quite a liberal amount of vinegar, yeah. Okay. Some salt, which I think is optional, but salt's always good.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's good to like crack the egg into a bowl first, so you can kind of control it and make it going easy. And the reason I was mentioning time before is like, look, after like 3 minutes, it's pretty much ready to go.
Right.
You know, it doesn't take long at all, and you just get like I used a English muffin, which I thought was the best way to do it, because the English muffin is quite small.
White
so
bread?
the egg, no, it was wholemeal.
There you go.
So the egg situates itself quite like it's kind of perfectly matched in size to the size of the. That's good. It's easy to cut up and everything. I find just like fried eggs as well. First of all, they take longer in my opinion, and you kind of need them with bacon or something else. Like you can't just have a fried egg by itself.
True.
Even a fried egg on toast, alright. But again, like on the English muffin, it would be too big. There wouldn't be enough muffin because it would be all spread out.
Unless you get one of those rings. And
the yolk to white. You always have some yolk to white because it's all wrapped in each other. So you always have both that you can eat at the same time, as opposed to having some white and then having some yolk.
And you can kind of see, like with the hard-boiled egg, you don't know if it's soft-boiled or middle. But this one you can see.
Yeah.
You're like, alright, that's how I like it. Bam. The way that I thought people homemade or home poached eggs was to put it in a ladle and then put that down. Is that, you don't do that? You just throw it in?
I just like delicately kind of pour it in.
And as it goes in, it kind of solidifies itself.
Yeah. You know who taught me as well? I learned from like Coles Man. You know the Coles guy who's probably a celebrity chef. What's his name?
Don't know.
Alright, looked it up. Coles Man. Those cooking segments he does, they just subtly like promote other Coles products. Like, because he gave me the idea of the English muffin, and he's like, you know, have with maybe like an English muffin or something. And then I go to Coles and I like buy an English muffin. I'm like, oh, you cheeky devil! You fucking.
I have no problem with that.
Well, I guess I don't either. It's not a big deal.
I've got the Woolworths app. So the app on that, you have recipes, like you look up what you want, and then you go, I like this one. It like puts you like the recipe list with like a checkbox and shit. So then you go to Woolworths, you're like, aisle 1, this is what I need. Check it off. Aisle 2.
How do you know? How do I know if it's aisle 2? Is it the same aisles every single Woolworths?
You need to choose your local store.
Okay, that's cool.
It is cool. Like for them to put the effort into making a recipe and shit, you need some kind of returns. Like, we've shown you what to do. Now, masquerading it and we're trying to help you like get your shopping done quicker. They're like, buy our shit. Oh, no problem about it.
Yeah, so long as you find the product useful.
And poached eggs. I'm going to actually try it. I haven't had a poached egg. I have like when you have Benedict and shit in cafes, but I've never tried one at home. I'm going to try it tomorrow morning. Yeah,
very easy to make and probably about the same quality as a cafe. Because let's face it, there's not much to it.
Yeah, you get your eggs from the same place. Boiled water's boiled water.
Vinegar's vinegar, salt. I guess they probably, some restaurants probably add their own little spices, the chef's got their own little secrets or whatever, but by and large...
Do you put hollandaise sauce or barbecue sauce or...
Nah, just straight, because the yolk's like a sauce.
I agree. I totally agree. This is something that I, from the back of my memory banks, know and have found interesting. Albert Einstein was all about using your time effectively. One day he was boiling eggs and cooking soup. And he's like, well, why don't I just boil the eggs in the soup?
What if like the soup gets kind of eggy though? Does it work?
No, like a boiled egg, so it's still in the shell, and you just put it in the soup. And then when the egg's ready...
Oh, right.
Save yourself a pot, save yourself the time of getting that shit and cleaning it up. Just fucking...
Yeah,
use your resources.
Does the heat kind of get to it effectively and everything? Like the soup's not too thick that it's kind of taking like some of the...
temperature.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, well, let's move on to our last segment of the week. Our usual on-running segment. It's old.
It's stupid.
It's no longer relevant. It's dumb and dusty. Hey, okay, so this is Dumb and Dusted.
Yep. The world famous.
Yep, and this week we're doing 19-something or rather film. 19, it was in the 20s?
Episode.
20s?
I don't know.
30s, later?
We should have done our research.
Yeah, anyway, the first Mickey Mouse one.
Yep.
Steamboat Willie.
Yep. Useless episode.
Dumb and Dusted.
Absolutely dumb and dusted.
And, look, I mean, we took time to actually watch it, because I remember from my childhood always thinking that wasn't as good as some of the more recent ones.
We tried to watch it.
We tried to. Well, we didn't finish it. It was
it's 7 minutes long. We couldn't even get 3 minutes through it.
One thing I point out to Kevin: what's the main thing you think of when you think of Mickey Mouse?
His voice.
The voice. Oh, Pluto! What? Absent.
Yep.
Absent in what is supposed to be the most iconic.
There was like
Mickey Mouse
whistles and cows and shit talking.
Yeah, they don't do that.
But Mickey wasn't talking.
Yeah, you don't hear Mickey at all.
Could have been none.
Well, they weren't talking as much. They were going wah, 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 which is kind of what Mickey was doing as well. But they were essentially doing the same thing. Whereas Mickey Mouse, the thing about it is distinct from the other characters. He's got his own,
and it wasn't in that.
Yeah.
I would rather watch Mickey just for the fact that he's got that other element. He's got his voice. Like, he's got his iconic look and he's got his mannerisms and shit, but he's got his voice. Steamboat Willie.
The soundtrack was boring. With the point we turned it off, because at least the first couple of minutes there was kind of a discernible plot. Like, there was stuff going on and they were reacting to it. But toward the end, it was like using a cow as like churning notes out of, like the gramophone and birds that just a bunch of shit that made no sense whatsoever.
And all of a sudden, his girl pops up and they're like, she's running late for the steamboat, and then he puts her on there, and then that's it. All these
Why don't you just wait to begin with?
Or just
you forgot your girlfriend was getting on the boat.
Exactly. You're not going to just fucking leave the dock without her, and then oh shit, I knew I forgot something.
Dumb and Dusted.
Absolutely.
Don't watch it.
People the reason that it came up initially in conversation when we were trying to think of something is because people if you like this is where it all stemmed from. Like, this is the shit. It's not the shit.
Yeah.
Fuck. It's Dumb and Dusted.
Okay, guys. Well, look, thanks for tuning in. Yeah. It's been great having you. I hope it kept you informed, or we didn't really get our facts straight for a lot of it. But
if you can rectify anything that we said, hit us up. We're on Twitter. We're on.
You can email us, FIAWG.
Something.
Go to our website, FIAWG.com, and find the contact details there.
There you go.
Okay.
Thanks for tuning in, and we're just here to remind you to take it easy.
And keep it clean.